Wheat and Weeds, a creativity practice for your Lenten season. So what does creativity have to do with the season of Lent? Lent is a season of self-reflection in hopes of deeper connection with God. And when we create, we go deep. We get to know ourselves just a little bit better. And in the act of creating, we build relationships with our Creator. Hi, I'm Dr. K.P. McKee, founder and executive director of A Spacious Place Creativity and Spirituality Center. And today we're going to do the creativity practice of wheat and weeds. So you're going to need just a few simple supplies. A Gospel of Matthew, chapter 13. 2 sheets of paper the same size, approximately 9 by 12. A ruler, pencil, pair of scissors, some sort of glue, and then you're going to want a media for drawing, something colorful like oil pastels or crayons, chalks, markers, whatever you have on hand that works well for you. And as we do this practice together, your comments or questions are welcome. Let's begin. So we're going to begin by preparing our papers. And we're going to make one into a frame. And that can be done really simply by simply laying your ruler along the edge of the paper and using its width to trace it with a pencil. Just like that. This one, as you can see, I have already done. For the second one, you're going to create columns along the long edge of the paper. And again, you can do it really simply with the edge of your ruler. Just move it along there like that. When you've done these two, you're going to flip them over, and you're going to use the back sides of them in just a little bit. Now it's time for us to get ready for our scripture reading. So to do that, you want to get yourself in a comfortable position wherever you are sitting. It often helps to have both feet on the floor because it helps us feel balanced in our space. And then we want to move our breathing from up here in the chest, which is where we breathe when we're a little anxious, down here into our lower abdomen. Imagine an infant in deep sleep, the way that their stomachs come in and out. And we're going to read the passage, which is Matthew 13, verses 24 through 30, 3 times. The first time, just get the overall gist of the passage. Get a sense of the storyline. And then just sit with that for a bit. On our second reading, we're going to bring all of our senses into the story. What do you see, hear? What does it taste like, feel like, sound like? Put yourself in the story and let it be happening all around you. And then ruminate on that for a bit. With the third reading, and again it's Matthew 13, verses 24 through 30. You're going to be noticing words and phrases that seem to come off the page as highlighted for you at this time on your day in this Lenten season. And then sit with that, chew on it, ruminate on it for a while. And when you feel ready, it's time to begin your creativity practice. So we're going to start in the weeds. And you can choose either sheet of paper for this. You decide if you want to use the frame sheet or the column sheet. And begin thinking, what for me are weeds in my personal life, in the global experience? These would be things that trip us up, that distract us from the good, that choke our soul, things that hurt us and just won't go away. And you can depict this any way you choose. This is your creative expression. It can be words, it can be images, colors, shapes, any combination of those. The main thing is you want to fill the page with whatever you're doing. This is where you're going to use your colorful markers or crayons or oil pastels. So after you have done your weed sheet, then you're going to move out of the weeds and into the wheat fields. Now, our wheat fields are the things that hearten us. They're the things that are wholesome and loving. They are that which nourishes our soul and the things that help us hang on until the harvest comes. And again, with these, you do it however feeds your soul. Words, images, colors, shapes, combinations. The main point is simply to fill your page with whatever you're using. So now we have our weeds and we have our wheat, and now we're going to weave them. And I have one that I have done in advance here so I can show you how that happens. This is my weeds. This is my wheat. So you can see on the back of this sheet where the lines are. So I'm going to fold here, line this up, and make a nice crease. You can use your finger like an iron, get that nice and strong there. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut along the bottom and the top line here. Now this is where you can begin getting creative with how you choose to proceed. The main point is that you want to do more cuts so that they're basically perpendicular to this line and that they also stop at this line. So here's one that's been done, and these are more in-depth weavings than we will be doing today. But you can see with this one that the width between the lines is different. So it doesn't have to all be the same width. You can also go rogue and not use your ruler at all, which is what I'm going to do, as long as you pretty much stick to it being perpendicular. I'm going to do undulating lines like this and jagged lines. The undulating lines remind me of wheat fields blowing in the wind, and the jagged lines of those weeds that get stuck in my shoes when I go out walking, trap on my shoelaces. The number of lines that you want to cut is up to you. I'm going to keep this one pretty basic. And then you open it up. Now it is time for us to do this sheet, and I'm going to cut along the lines that I have drawn here. Know that you're going to have some leftover depending on how wide your ruler is, so be thinking about if you want to just go ahead and take some off either side for you to use in a different way, or if you want to cut them all and just see how it all comes together. This is your spiritual practice. Do it the way that works for you. You can use it to create a frame around the outside of your piece. This one I did, and I curled the ribbons, the pieces that were left over. So that's an option too. Do whatever feels good to you. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the two edges here that I have and save them for later. And as you can see with mine, I simply used colors and shapes. Alright, so I'm going to start here on this edge. If you use chalk or oil pastels or crayons, once you get the weaving done, you can spray it with hairspray, which will act as a fixative. So when we weave, we go under and over. It's a study in opposites. And there's something centering and soothing about simply cutting along a line. And down here, we start opposite this one, so we start underneath and go over. And as you do it, you want to tuck these up against each other. This one starts the way the first one did. So you're looking at something of a checkerboard effect. And take your time with this practice and just enjoy the process itself. And as you can see, I'm mixing these up so that some of them are facing one way and some of them are facing the other way. You are welcome to do that. You are also welcome to keep it as the way that you put it together. And we'll get back to this one. So over and under. And we start underneath here. I'm going to do this one this way. And one last one for in here. And this one again will start on top. I'm going to start this way. Be patient with yourself in this process. then I'm going to use my glue stick and seal down the edges. If you're using something that is oilier, like oil pastels or crayons, a glue stick is going to probably work better than rubber cement. If you're using markers, rubber cement works just fine. And you can always pick things up and move things around with it, so that's a bonus. And I'm going to finish mine off by making a frame. So I'm going to do the undulating lines here and cut this in half. And mirror this on each side here. And because I am expecting the harvest, I'm going to do the whole frame in these undulating lines that remind me of wheat blowing in the wind. And as I said before, this is one thing that you can do with the extras. I'd be very interested to know if you have some other ideas. And you can comment on our Facebook page. All right, I have one last one. Once you have completed your weaving, just sit with it for a bit. What did you expect it to be? What things about it surprised you? What new insights do you have into Jesus' story of the wheat and the weeds as a result of having done this practice? If you have found this helpful at all, we hope you will like us on Facebook, and also please visit our website, www.aspaciousplace.com, and sign up for our newsletter so you can see what we're up to and if there's anything we're doing that you might find nourishing for your soul. Thank you so much for joining us, and let's close in prayer. Jesus, please help us to see the wheat among the weeds so we can hang on until the harvest. Amen.